Welcome to Joey Fixes Your Life, a motivational podcast to help you on your journey no matter where your season finds you. These podcasts are designed to candidly, honestly, objectively, and humorously look at life and get some guidance to best live it through your day-to-day challenges. I always say I'm no expert at anything other than how to be myself, and in saying that I've learned a lot about what works for me. And also finding out what has worked for me, I do my best to share it in such a way where others can apply it to their own lives if they choose. I believe we're all looking for more encouragement, far less judgment, acknowledgement, acceptance, peace, companionship, fulfillment, and love. In recognizing this, my goal with my podcast is to take on some of these ideas, how they show up in your life amidst great challenge, and what you can do to still experience them even if deterred. Something I frequently say is make good choices, which at one time was a sitcom-style joke I gained from moral-driven television. It stopped being a joke when I realized it truly does mean just that, and I've thus adopted it when I talk to people and when I take them on as students as their life coach. I actually upgrade that to make productive choices. So, let's tuck into this first pilot podcast and see what surfaces. Pulling up. Right now, with this being the start of a new year and a preceding brand new decade, I was asking myself, what is the first thing that could come to mind that would be helpful as a pilot podcast? At this time, I'm a new transplant to Las Vegas, Nevada, and nothing about my transition has been at all ideal. Let me set the stage a bit more. I'm not working just yet, money is running out, the cabinets are getting bare, and the tensions in the house as a result of so much are simmering. The struggle ain't just real, folks. It is in full surround sound, high definition, and is likely to get nominated for an Oscar. I had just gotten done cutting my hair, and I was thinking about whether or not to put this podcast pilot episode together. I did have time on my hands, though, and I wasn't feeling genuinely good about what was going on in my life, so I decided anyway to take action towards feeling better about it all. I asked myself, while I was looking for my headphones, what do I call this first episode? Then another voice almost instantly answered with, I don't know, but you better pull up, 'cause now's the time. From that I said, let's talk about that. Let's talk about pulling up. Since the person I know the most about is me, that's how I'll look at this topic. I know that when I am faced by really large challenges, I get very quiet, a bit inwardly moody, and I begin the process of my fear inventory. All the things I know I'm afraid of happening if I don't pull things together regarding a particularly difficult situation. Right now, I'm dealing with a new ball of wax, a new living situation with my partner, money, especially momentary lack thereof, working, living styles, and relationship dynamics. I've always prided myself on being able to work well under pressure, and at the same time, it isn't something we should condition ourselves to have that be the only atmosphere under which we can produce our success. For me, dealing with bills that aren't going to be paid on time, rent that's going to be late, my partner having his own stress and stress response patterns, have really had me on edge since I got here. It hasn't been a peaceful transition, and in recognizing that, I want to choose another more productive means to see the situation so that I can find actions to take that will leave me feeling empowered among what's happening. Let me first tell you, when I get really stressed out, the main thing I want to do is sleep. I want to get in bed, shut the world out, make my room as dark as possible, and use sleep to escape. This is part of a default behavior from childhood trauma that I won't go into. However, parts of my stress response just stem from that part of my life. This is my act of avoidance, completely not dealing, and borderline shutting down. However, as I've gotten older, I've realized this response is not a good choice against what needs to happen. In the attempt to sleep, I had to ask myself, what would you like to have happen? The question itself left me restless. As a result, I woke up and decided, let's do something that's going to be productive. I got out of bed and decided to cut my hair. As I'm in the bathroom and I'm listening to an audiobook, I'm going through more mental dialogue. I'm asking myself, what changes take place when cutting my hair? Well, it becomes a different way of seeing myself and experiencing myself. I have some interviews coming up, I can also look ready to receive work offers with cutting my hair and shaving. The more I thought about what I was really asking myself was, how can I initiate change that felt like I had more control over it? I realized it wasn't just time to change in appearance, it was time to change in actions too. I had been putting off doing certain things because of the circumstances I found myself immersed in. For myself, when it comes to being a creative person, I often prefer to create based on the inspiration and timing. I've always felt I must if I force something, that means it's not the time to do that particular, kind of thing. With my new situation, realizing certain circumstances are going to take more time to work through, the best thing I can do right now is create what really works for this space. How do you create when there are so many things to fear in the current space? Fear is either going to cause you to be inactive or take action. I've heard this called acts of inspiration or desperation. They are meant to lead you out of where you are to get you somewhere else. I'm choosing inspiration and conducting this podcast. This is me pulling up from where I find myself. I went on a walk on Saturday, and in that space of being alone, I understood this isn't a situation you're going to be rescued or saved from at large. You're going to have to take action that doesn't just save, it resuscitates, it revives, and most importantly, it reinvigorates you for the journey ahead. I will not lie. However, the nuts and bolts of struggling quite like this, man, I forgot all about that because of the prior system of support I had back in place in Los Angeles, California. Now that I'm in Las Vegas with my partner, I have to learn a new level of support. Not just for myself, I need to learn it for our relationship, our endeavors both collectively and individually, so I can make a positive impact on the shared spaces as frequently as possible. I believe to do this means to pull up, taking where you are, acknowledging that, and being willing to do the work needed to improve the situation. That may require unconventional options, not prior exercise, like asking for help. If asking for help is the provocative thing to do, it may be the most productive choice. I know it was absolutely provocative for me, as I've often felt in asking for help personally, I'm burdening others along with showing I don't have everything under control. I had to let go of appearing a certain way, acknowledge what is, what was, and move forward so I didn't stay stranded in a realm of anger, self-pity, self-doubt, and nagging sadness. Pulling up isn't just a physical endeavor of moving yourself out of a current circumstance. Pulling up is about doing it emotionally and mentally as well. The way your mind thinks of a situation and circumstance is how you act upon it. And knowing this so intimately, I often tell others it's all right to not be okay. We live in a society where we're taught to shame ourselves in times of great challenge. On top of that, we're taught to suppress the emotions, hide or avoid discussion about the situation, and just jump right to just feeling better. Why? When we don't take the time to discuss our feelings, we have no way to getting to the root causes of them, resulting in further exercises of counterproductive activity that can have damaging repercussions. When the going gets tough, take a moment to be with that, then make the productive choice to move forward, knowing things can and will change for the positive. I've told students I coach, in a moment of adversity, when there doesn't seem to be anything positive that can be found, tell yourself you have the ability to be positive, and that is often the best available choice. It may take a little bit of time for things to align with how you feel, so you attract and manifest outcomes similar to your feeling state. However, do this so you can generate a clear space to get what you need. This is pulling up emotionally at its best, because when you change the words you use surrounding a situation, how you discuss them with friends and family, etc., you are likely to come to a closer solution had you acted otherwise by speaking only of the space negatively or in a way that disempowers you from taking action. Pulling up doesn't suggest you are failing, not doing well, or any other definition that leaves you feeling less than when dealing with it. Pulling up can be the extra push you gave yourself, the shift in your thinking that allows your path to get there just by an inch adjustment, so now you get what you needed. For myself in my current space, while there seems to be much uncertainty, the thing I have the most control over is my reactiveness and making productive choices to further my space along regarding what I need to receive. I also believe strongly in being compassionate towards myself more than I once was, because I understand I'm not making mistakes on purpose or doing things in such a way to cause more harm to my situation. All decisions have byproducts. They will set into motion opposite and equal reactions. We have to be able to go with them while staying kind to ourselves. I end this pilot episode regarding pulling up by saying anything is possible, even when things are at their darkest. Where there is your will, there is always a way. Don't be married to a single outcome. Understand there can be many that resolve the situation and circumstance you are experiencing. Some resolutions will be ones you have to sit with, understanding longer than others, as there may be more to learn about yourself regarding that outcome. No matter what, keep your head up. This situation circumstance will not kill you. It is not the end of you. So get in there, experience your best self by taking action, by pulling yourself up.